My friend invited me to her birthday party, but made me pay $200 for my own meal, drinks, and cake. Then she posted, "Real friends don't care about money." So I posted the receipts. Turns out, none of us were real enough for her. I'm Natalie, 28, female, and I swear I didn't set out to destroy a friendship. I just got tired of being used. Here's the setup. My friend Kayla, 30, female, threw herself a birthday party last month. Not just any party. This over-the-top, influencer-tier dinner at a rooftop restaurant downtown where cocktails start at $22 and the waiters wear white gloves. Kayla has always had this aesthetic. Champagne tastes on an unpaid intern budget. She loves manifesting things, except rent, that she just Venmos her mom for. Kayla and I met freshman year of college. She was the girl with the loudest laugh in the dorm and the biggest collection of skincare products I'd ever seen. Back then, it was cute, charming even. She'd float into our room with some chaotic story about sneaking into a club using someone else's wristband, or booking a Miami trip with student loans. I was more grounded. I had 3 jobs, color-coded calendars, and panic attacks over B+s. But she was magnetic. Being her friend felt like sunlight, even if I always ended up picking up the bill. Fast forward 10 years, and I guess not much changed, except I'm now working full-time in finance, budgeting my way toward a down payment. Kayla? She's a freelance content strategist who hasn't had a real client since 2022, but still somehow flies business class because credit card points are there to be used. So when she invited me to her birthday, I already knew what I was signing up for. It was an invite with phrases like, dress code, grown and sexy, and get ready to spend a little. Real friends show up. That should have been the first red flag. There were 16 of us at this dinner. She sat at the head of the table like some kind of budget Kardashian, ordering bottle service and Wagyu sliders like she was footing the tab. The vibe was fun, chaotic, loud, but every time someone asked about splitting the check, she just waved it off with, "Don't worry about it, we'll handle it later." Later came as a Venmo request 2 days later. $198.43. Not even a rounded $200. Not even a, "Hey, thanks for coming." Just a cold, robotic request with the caption, "Birthday bash woman dancing party popper." I stared at my phone for a full minute, thinking it was a mistake. Then I texted her, "Me. Hey, did you mean to charge everyone full price for their meals? Thought you'd said it was your treat." She left me on read for 5 hours, then replied, "Girl, real friends don't care about money nail polish." That's when something inside me snapped. Maybe it was the casual entitlement. Maybe it was the fact that she'd posted some Instagram story earlier that day with the caption, "Surrounded by Queen's crown sparkling heart, so grateful to celebrate with real ones." But I wasn't feeling like a queen. I felt like an ATM with a mascara wand. So I posted a screenshot of the Venmo request. Then I added mine, from the same dinner, showing the $22 cocktail, $38 entree, and the $9 celebration fee. We were apparently charged for her birthday cake, and I added, "Guess none of us were real enough to get a free slice of cake." That's when everything blew up. The post went viral in our friend group in about 6 hours. By the next morning, 3 people had already canceled on Kayla for her brunch debrief. That Sunday, one girl, Rena, 27, who's been Kayla's ride or die since they were bottle girls together, texted me privately and said, "I've been waiting for someone to say it." Then she sent me her Venmo request, $212.75. Turns out Kayla charged Rena for 2 of her own drinks and the damn cake she didn't even eat because she's vegan. Rena called it emotional fraud via dessert. Kayla, of course, lost her damn mind. First came the group chat message, long, ranty, and written like a therapist's notes trying to cosplay poetry. I'm so hurt right now. I thought we were celebrating love and sisterhood, not nickel-and-diming each other over joy. If money is more important to you than memories, then I don't know who you are anymore. And then she removed me from the chat. No discussion. Just gone. Within 10 minutes, I got 3 DMs. One from Jules, 30, who's the nicest person on earth, and once gave Kayla her rent money when she got scammed by a crypto coach. Jules was mortified. She said Kayla had asked her to split a hotel room for a Miami trip 2 years ago, and then stuck her with the whole charge because my card wasn't working. Another came from Shelby, 26, who Kayla had called a cheap bitch once at brunch for ordering the lunch special. Shelby sent me screenshots of Kayla calling me bitter and obsessed in her IG close friends. I wasn't even in that circle anymore, but she screen recorded it. Kayla was laughing on camera, holding a glass of rose, saying, "Can't believe someone's life is so dry they gotta audit a birthday dinner. I hope you find peace, baby." That's when I realized this wasn't just about dinner. This had been building for years. I remembered my birthday last year. I'd booked a small paint and sip class, just 6 of us. Kayla showed up an hour late, brought an influencer friend no one knew, made the night about her, and left early because the vibe wasn't vibing. She never even said happy birthday. I remember sitting in the Uber after, holding a wrapped gift she'd left behind that turned out to be a used candle. I remembered all the times she'd forgotten her wallet, and I covered her. All the borrowed dresses she never returned. The time she lost my headphones and laughed like it was a bonding moment. I remembered how she used to gaslight the hell out of me for wanting to budget. "You're so uptight," she'd say. "Just live a little." And I always caved, always paid, always felt like maybe I was the boring one. But now, I wasn't the only one waking up. Kayla posted a reel that weekend, black and white, Billie Eilish playing. Caption: "When the people closest to you reveal who they really are, broken heart, #betrayed, #growth." Comments turned off, but I'd already started getting tagged in duets. People were reposting the receipts I'd shared, captioning it, "Queen behavior," and "Friendship tax audit, pass." Even strangers were like, "No way she charged y'all $200 and called herself the victim." Kayla's world was cracking, and the next time I saw her, she wasn't holding Rose. She was screaming in the middle of a Sephora parking lot. It happened on a random Tuesday. I was walking out of Sephora with a travel-sized toner and a sinking bank account because self-care is expensive and spite shopping is real when I heard someone yell, "Oh, so now you're just out here, huh?" I turned, and there she was, Kayla, in full rage glam, like lashes fluttering, edges snatched, designer sunglasses perched on top of her head like she was 2 seconds from doing a YouTube apology. But the energy? Nuclear. She stomped across the parking lot like a real housewife who just found out her prenup had a typo. "You couldn't text me first?" she screamed. "You had to drag me online?" A woman holding a toddler paused mid-wipe with a baby wipe. I felt my stomach drop, heart racing. I wasn't trying to be dramatic. I really thought this was going to be a talk it out situation. But Kayla? She came loaded. "You posted the receipt like I'm some scammer," she hissed, jabbing a manicured finger in my face. "You humiliated me. You made me look broke. You charge people for your own cake, Kayla," I said, calm but firm. "You acted like it was your gift to us." "It was," she snapped. "It was the gift of being in my life. Do you even know what it costs to have friends who show up looking like something? Who understand the vibe? Who don't whine about money every time we breathe?" And there it was, that word again, money. I stepped back. "You're not mad I posted the receipt. You're mad they proved what people already suspected. Bet you've been using us and calling it friendship." She scoffed, eyes darting around the parking lot like she suddenly realized this wasn't private. "You're jealous," she said, voice shaking now. "You've always been jealous of me. My energy, my confidence, my life. You're a spreadsheet in a dress." I laughed, couldn't help it. A little hysterical edge in there, too. "Jealous? Of what? Getting evicted from 3 apartments in 2 years and lying about being nomadic by choice?" That's when she lost it. She lunged, not to hit me, but to snatch the Sephora bag out of my hand. Toner flew. My receipt fluttered to the pavement like confetti for the world's saddest party. "And Kayla?" She started sobbing. Not the cute, single-tear influencer cry. Full-blown, loud, hiccuping sobs. On the asphalt, screaming about betrayal and a decade of friendship down the drain. And, "You ruined my birthday era." A store employee came out and asked if we needed to call someone. I said, "No, just a former friend having a public meltdown because I stopped paying for her lifestyle." He blinked, nodded, went back inside. Kayla didn't stop. She slid down against the side of her Prius, sobbing into her phone, voice shaking as she recorded herself, crying about the pain of fake friends. And all I could think was, she's still trying to perform this. Even now, even in the middle of a parking lot breakdown. That's when I realized something chilling. Kayla didn't have real friends anymore. She had props, and I'd just stepped off the stage. The group chat was silent for 2 days after the Sephora incident. Then came the post. Kayla dropped a 9-slide carousel on Instagram titled, "Healing After Betrayal, a guide for real one's wilted flower sparkles." Slide 1 was a quote. "Some people only love you when you're paying the bill. Protect your light." Slide 2 was a selfie of her with puffy eyes and a latte. Caption, "When you've cried all night but still have to be a boss babe." Slide 3, a screenshot of my Venmo request, with my name still visible, red circled and captioned, "This is what it looks like when people try to destroy your joy over $200. That's when I knew we'd entered psychological warfare. The next day, I got a text from one of her orbiters, Allie, 25, sweet but a chronic fence sitter. She sent me a TikTok Kayla had made, her lip syncing to "Thank you next" in a robe, tagging it hashtag cleansing, hashtag new circle, hashtag lost tons. Comments were off, again, always off. Allie wrote, "Okay, but why is she acting like you burned her house down? She charged us for her own cake and you're the villain?" Then another message came in, this time from Monica, 28, who I hadn't heard from since the party. She screenshotted a DM Kayla sent her. "Just a heads up, Natalie's been on one lately, clearly projecting. Let's give her space to work through her money trauma to heart." Money trauma? Girl, you charged people $198.43 for a night you invited them to and then weaponized Instagram when they didn't clap loud enough. I didn't reply. Not to Monica, not to Allie, not to Kayla. I just sat in my room staring at my screen, cycling between anger and disbelief. My Spotify was playing that sad Phoebe Bridgers song I always forget is on shuffle until I'm already crying. But then, I got the message. Jules again. This time, she sent a photo of a group dinner from 2 years ago. We were all there. Me, Jules, Rena, Shelby, even Kayla, lined up at a long wooden table with flickering candles. We looked happy, real. Jules had added one note underneath it. "Do you remember how she dipped out before the check came? Told us she was going to the bathroom and never came back. We covered $473. I did remember. And suddenly it all snapped into place. That was Kayla's M.O. She made you feel like family, like a sisterhood, like you were part of this exclusive, glittering girl gang. But the minute reality came due, bills, boundaries, honesty, she vanished. Or worse, turned it into a guilt trip. It had never been about friendship. It was about leverage. And now that she'd lost hers, she was spiraling fast. That weekend, Kayla tried to host a rooftop brunch. Nobody came. Not a single one of us. Not Jules, not Rena, not Shelby, not even Allie. I heard through the grapevine she sat alone for 45 minutes, then posted a photo with the caption, "When you have to treat yourself because everyone else fumbled your energy." That post got one like from her cousin. That was the tipping point. But I wasn't done. Because if Kayla wanted to talk about real friends, I was about to show her what it really looks like when one walks away and takes the truth with them. Update. Okay, wow. Did not expect this to blow up the way it did. Hi again, Natalie here. I wasn't planning to post an update, but y'all, some of the DMs and comments I got, unhinged, hilarious, weirdly healing. A few of you deserve honorary therapist licenses, and some of y'all are savage in the best way. To answer the main question, yes, Kayla did see the viral thread. Yes, she absolutely lost it. And yes, she tried to start a redemption arc. Buckle up. So, 2 days after I posted part 4, I get this long-ass email. Not a text, an email. Subject line, "Let's heal." Already knew it was gonna be a banger. The email starts with, "I've been deeply wounded by this experience," and ends with, "I forgive you." Which, girl, you charged me for your birthday cake. You don't get to forgive me like I keyed your car and blamed it on Mercury retrograde. But the best part? She attached a Google Drive folder titled, "Clarity." Inside, 1. A 2-minute voice memo of her crying and saying, "I'm just really emotional right now, and I feel like the universe is testing me." 2. Screenshots of our old messages from 2021 that prove we were real friends once. 3. A Canva PDF titled, "Rebuilding the Circle, A manifesto of light. I wish I were kidding. She actually included a flowchart with the words, shadow work, and reconnection ceremony. Y'all, I nearly choked on my soup. Anyway, I didn't respond. I'm done playing therapist to someone who thinks accountability is a kind of Instagram filter. But, and here's the real tea, after the brunch flop, Kayla must have realized she needed someone on her side, because she started DMing people she hadn't talked to in years. Apologies, fake, miss you, messages, even offered to treat them to drinks. Yes, really? The same girl who billed us for her own birthday is now offering to pay. But the damage was done. Too many receipts. Too many people finally comparing stories. One girl, Lana, sent me a screenshot from 2018 of Kayla asking for $60 for Uber emergencies and then tagging herself at a spa 2 hours later. It's like the floodgates opened. Everyone had a Kayla charged me for ____ story. Everyone had been quietly tolerating her chaos. And that's when it hit me. This wasn't revenge. This was exposure therapy. For all of us. We'd spent years second-guessing ourselves, thinking we were being petty or sensitive or not fun enough to hang, when really, we were just getting bled dry by someone who knew how to package manipulation in glitter and affirmations. So no, I didn't burn the bridge. I just stopped pretending it was made of anything real. Final note. Rena made a group chat. Not the old one. A new one. It's literally titled, Real Friends Who Pay for Their Own Damn Food. And we're meeting for brunch next week. Split check. No cake fees. Next post. I'll tell you exactly what happened when Kayla showed up anyway. Because yeah, she did. She showed up wearing white. To someone else's brunch. Like it was her redemption tour kickoff. We were at this cute little spot downtown. Nothing fancy. Just eggs, mimosas, and a clean split bill. The vibe was peaceful, easy. Rena brought pastries. Jules wore her "Don't text your ex" t-shirt. Shelby said she hadn't laughed this much in months. For once, we were just women eating carbs in the sun, not actresses in someone else's drama. And then, Kayla walked in. She didn't just walk, she entered. Like a real housewife whose mic just got turned back on. White dress, platform heels, sunglasses the size of her ego, and no reservation. Every head at our table turned. Even the waiter paused, holding a tray of Bellinis, like he just spotted a lion on the patio. Rena froze mid-bite. No! Kayla beeline for our table like she owned the sidewalk. Hi, ladies, she said, voice syrupy. I was just in the area and thought, what are the odds? She wasn't invited, hadn't even been mentioned, but somehow she knew. Maybe she saw Jules' Instagram story. Maybe she's got brunch radar like a Marvel villain. Either way, she pulled up a chair, didn't ask, just sat down, legs crossed like she'd earned the right to breathe our air. Wow, she said, scanning the table. It's like old times. Nobody spoke, not even Jules. And she once negotiated a breakup using cupcakes. Then Kayla smiled. Listen, I just wanted to say, I know things got dramatic, but I'm in a better place now. I've done a lot of reflection. Shelby muttered, you mean damage control? Kayla ignored that, kept talking. I realized I was holding on too tight to what I thought friendship looked like. I was trying to create experiences, but maybe I overestimated what people could handle emotionally. Emotionally. Sis, you charged us $200 for your birthday, and then posted quotes about fake friends while sobbing in a parking lot. She continued, pulling something out of her purse. A small box. Anyway, I got everyone something. As an apology. I already knew this was going to be a mess. You don't drop a metaphorical nuke and then hand out party favors. One by one, she handed us little gift boxes. White ribbon, gold sticker that said, You are magic. Jules opened hers first. Inside, a rose quartz crystal, a tiny vial labeled, Abundance Oil, and a handwritten note that said, I release all resentment and reclaim my light. I hope you do too. Kay. It was a gift box of forgiveness. For us. From her. That's when I lost it. I stood up, calmly, picked up my mimosa, took one long sip. Then I looked Kayla dead in the eyes and said, You don't get to crash our brunch, hand out apology rocks, and pretend this was all just an energy misunderstanding. You lied to us. You used us. You made us feel crazy for expecting basic decency. Kayla blinked. The table had gone dead quiet. So here's my gift to you. I said. I forgive myself for not walking away sooner. And I left. Walked straight out that door, sunlight in my eyes, mimosa buzz in my blood, and the sound of Jules clapping behind me. Kayla didn't take the exit gracefully. She never does. While I walked out like the end of a music video, Kayla stayed, because of course she did. Rena later filled me in on what happened after I left, and honestly, it's the only thing funnier than her apology rock. Apparently, she sat there frozen for a second, blinking like a malfunctioning NPC. Then she flipped, instantly. You know what? She snapped, voice shaking. I tried. I'm the only one who's actually grown from this. You're all still bitter and basic, hiding behind brunch like that makes you better than me. Shelby, legend that she is, leaned back and said, Girl, you charged us for your own birthday cake. Take your rocks and bounce. That's when Kayla grabbed a mimosa that wasn't hers, Jules, and poured it out. Not in the glass, on the table. Enjoy your little broke girl therapy session. She hissed, I hope your eggs are dry. Then she grabbed her bag, knocked over one of the little apology boxes, and stormed out of the restaurant like the main character in a movie nobody asked for. Two old ladies at the next table clapped, swear to God. But here's where things went from chaotic to cosmic justice. Monday morning, I get an email from a name I don't recognize, Claire Randall, event coordinator at a local PR firm. Subject line, regarding a recent referral and social behavior concern. I almost deleted it, but curiosity won. I opened it. Turns out, Kayla had been gunning for a freelance gig with a boutique agency that handles influencer brand partnerships. The firm's founder? Mutuals with Rena through a previous collab. Apparently, Kayla had used our brunch photo, yes, the one she crashed, as part of her portfolio pitch. Said she was rebuilding community through brand-powered women's events. Claire wanted to know if we'd worked with Kayla, if she was, quote, a good fit for high-profile lifestyle campaigns. I stared at the screen for a good 5 minutes. Then I did the one thing Kayla never expected. I told the truth. I wrote back with receipts, the Venmo breakdown, the screenshots, a link to her betrayal healing reel with a fake friends quote circled in red. I added one sentence at the end. Kayla is talented in aesthetics, but not accountability. No lies, just facts. Claire replied 5 hours later. Thank you for the transparency. We've decided to go in a different direction. And just like that, Kayla's little redemption arc collapsed under its own glittery weight. By the end of the week, 3 more people unfollowed her. She posted a black screen on stories that said, Growth hurts when people want you to stay small. And I just smiled. Because the real glow-up isn't a filter or a fake forgiveness gift. It's walking away from people who demand everything while offering nothing, and finally being done. Final update. Okay, so remember when Kayla got dropped from that PR gig? I thought that'd be the quiet end of it. I pictured her vanishing back into her little world of vision boards and uncashed checks, maybe finally leaving us alone. But Kayla doesn't go quiet. She curates chaos. 4 days ago, I get a notification. Someone tagged me in a TikTok. My stomach immediately did that thing like when you miss a step on the stairs. It was Kayla. New account. New aesthetic. Blonde now. Handle at Real Growth Girl. The video? A moody slow-motion montage of her walking through a farmer's market alone. Big hat. Iced matcha. Sad indie music in the background. Captions floating over the clips like journal entries. They laughed when I started healing. They couldn't handle my glow-up. One friend even sabotaged a career opportunity. But God don't play about me. Yep, she full-on implied that I ruined her life because I couldn't handle her. Success. And the comments? Split down the middle. Half her new followers were sending heart emojis and calling her Queen. The other half? Scrolling Reddit. You guys found her. Someone even commented, Sis, you charged your friends for cake and called it self-care. Be serious. God bless the internet. Anyway, I wasn't going to say anything. I was done. But then someone sent me a screenshot from her new website. She launched a Healing Circle coaching service. $129 per session. Her bio says she specializes in community repair after betrayal and misalignment. I could not breathe. She literally turned our fallout into a business model, a self-help brand. And that's when I realized Kayla wasn't just delusional. She was dangerous in the way only pretty, privileged people can be. The kind that packages harm as empowerment and sells it to the next vulnerable girl. So I made one final move. No call-outs, no drama. Just a little digital housekeeping. I uploaded our original brunch bill to my personal blog, anonymized, timestamp, titled, "How to Tell If You're Being Emotionally Overdraft." Then I added a checklist. Do your friends confuse generosity with obligation? Are you constantly guilt for not showing up in ways that cost you? Has a friend ever asked for emotional support and a deposit? By the next morning, it had over 60,000 views. That was it. The closure I didn't know I needed. Not revenge. Not exposure. Just truth laid bare. Kayla hasn't posted since. Her last story was a screenshot of the moon and the phrase, "Silence is a spell." And me? I'm doing better than fine. Rena and I are planning a trip. Jules is dating someone new who actually pays for things. Shelby got promoted and bought a ridiculous jacket she wears like armor. And me? I still go to brunch. Still split the check. Still laugh too loud over eggs and overpriced coffee. But now, I sit at tables where love doesn't come with a receipt. It's strange how peace feels suspicious after chaos. Like, I kept waiting for another shoe to drop. For Kayla to send a cease and desist on lavender-scented letterhead. For her to fake a breakdown and tag me in a wellness GoFundMe. But nothing. Silence. It had been 2 weeks since her last cryptic moon post. The Healing Circle site? Deleted. The Instagram rebrand? Quiet. Her TikTok? Gone private. I didn't realize how much space she had taken up in my head until I got it back. But healing isn't a straight line. It's a spiral. Sometimes you come back to old thoughts just to see how much they don't hurt anymore. So I let myself scroll back. I opened old group photos, dumb texts, little voice notes of her yelling, "Bestie!" from bars. There was one from 3 years ago where she left me a voicemail because I hadn't texted back fast enough. She sounded so panicked. "You're mad at me, aren't you? Just say it. I know you're mad." Back then, I would have apologized for making her feel insecure. Now, I just listened with the clarity of someone who finally understands emotional debt. Kayla didn't want friends. She wanted audience members, hype women, credit cards with feelings. And when the applause stopped, she imploded. But this part's not really about her anymore, because something happened last weekend that caught me off guard. In the best way. I ran into Allie. Yeah, Allie from the old group chat. The one who always tried to stay neutral, who used to say, "Kayla's just passionate," like it was an excuse. We bumped into each other at a plant shop of all places. I was holding a pot hose. She was comparing succulents like she was trying to pick a tattoo. We just stared for a second before she said, "Is it safe to say I owe you an apology?" I laughed. "Only if I can say I used to secretly judge your Pinterest boards." We got coffee. We talked, really talked, about everything. About the guilt of going along with someone toxic because it's easier than rocking the boat. About realizing you were complicit in someone else's damage. About waking up. And then she said something that made my chest hurt, in that good, healing way. "I think I let Kayla teach me how to shrink my instincts. You reminded me how to listen to them again." That meant more than any viral comment section or petty victory ever could. I don't know if Allie and I will be best friends again, but I do know this. Sometimes the people who orbit toxicity the longest aren't bad, they're just scared. And when they get free, they build real things. We hugged before leaving. She gave me a tiny succulent. "Peace offering," she said. I put it on my kitchen windowsill, next to the candle Kayla left behind years ago, unlit, covered in dust, still full of wax. Funny how some things never burn, and some things, once ignited, never go out. Some endings don't come with a bang. They just stop echoing. That's how it felt a month later, waking up and realizing I hadn't thought about Kayla in days. Her name didn't live in my chest anymore. Her voice wasn't playing reruns in the back of my mind. The space she used to rent in my head? Renovated, fresh coat of peace, no forward address. But then came the wedding invite. Not Kayla's, thank God. It was Jules. She and her boyfriend turned fiancé, the one who actually pays for things, bless his punctual tax-paying soul, were getting married this fall. Small ceremony, backyard, real flowers, real people. And she asked me to be in the bridal party. I said yes without hesitation. And then I cried a little in the grocery store parking lot because I realized something wild. I hadn't lost a friend. I'd made room for better ones. We spent the next few weeks planning the bachelorette weekend. Think mountain cabin, pajamas, wine, bad karaoke, 0 influencers. It was healing, quietly revolutionary. But one night, we ended up talking about Kayla, not because we missed her, but because of what she taught us. Rena said, "It's weird, right? She made us feel like we were hard to love, like we were bad friends. But actually, we were just her best audience." Jules nodded. She wasn't toxic because she was broken. She was toxic because it worked for her. And Shelby? Shelby raised a glass and said, "To charging for your own birthday cake," so the rest of us could finally learn what a real friend looks like. We laughed until we cried, and cried until we laughed again, because that's what real healing looks like. Messy, hilarious, loud, soft, all at once. And when I got back home, a weird impulse hit me. I pulled open the drawer where I'd stashed that old crystal Kayla gave me, the one from her unhinged apology box, still in the tissue paper, still smelling faintly like desperation and patchouli. I took it outside, planted it in the dirt near the succulent Allie gave me, not out of sentimentality, out of closure. Kayla believed in charging people for presents. I believe in planting the past and letting something better grow. And that's the thing I want anyone reading this to take away. Sometimes you lose people who were never supposed to stay. Sometimes you expose the lie, and it costs you the illusion. But what you get back is yourself. And honestly, I'm worth more than $198. 43 plus tax. Natalie.